Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to tell you the one fear that narcissists is the greatest fear of all the narcissists, all right? I'm going to talk about the fears of the narcissist, and I'm going to get into, at the end, stay to the end, and you're going to hear the greatest fear that a narcissist has. So let's talk about the fears that narcissists have, all right? We all know that narcissists fear exposure. That's one of their biggest fears, not the biggest fear. But narcissists hate being exposed. They hate when you finally see through them and you realize that they aren't who you thought they were. See, narcissists want to appear as your hero. They want to appear great. They want you to idolize them. They want you to praise them. They want constant flattery, constant praise. They want you to look up to them. They also want you to be dependent on them. That's why they isolate you from family. You know, it's more than just a control thing. When they isolate you from family, it's because they don't want you to have that supportive family. They want you to be completely codependent on them, all right? So narcissists hate being exposed, and they hate also that, your friends and family will tip you off and let you know that the narcissist is no good, or they may tip you off that the narcissist is a liar or a manipulator. They don't want you to be able to see through them, okay? And that's a big reason, too, why narcissists smear you, because they're afraid that you're going to, let's say the relationship breaks up. One of their biggest fears is that you're going to go tell everybody that, they're this corrupt, vile type of person. They're a liar. They're toxic. So they're going to worry about what you tell other people. That's why they've always got to smear you first. They've always got to beat you to the punch. All right. So narcissists fear exposure, no doubt. They definitely fear exposure. The next thing that narcissists really fear is abandonment. Okay. A lot of narcissists felt a sense of abandonment. Not all of them, but a lot of them felt a sense of abandonment in their childhood development. Maybe they weren't praised enough. Maybe they weren't validated enough. Now, obviously, this is different for the golden child, the entitled child, okay? That particular type of child, got everything they wanted. But keep in mind, too, just because a child gets everything they want, they still can feel empty inside because maybe they got validated and they got, money, or they got gifts, or they were able to do whatever they want. Children as a whole need boundaries, okay? So, if they could do whatever they want, there's no goals for them to, reach for, because everything becomes too easy for them and there's no value in it, all right? But I'm not going to get into all that. But what I want to get into is the fact that narcissists also fear abandonment. They also fear when you walk away from the relationship. They're terrified that you're going to leave them. In their distorted minds, they hope or they think that you're not going anywhere. And they give it time. And like I said before in my other podcast where I talked about all of this, the narcissist, if they're doing well, they're not going to worry too much, if you abandon the relationship. But if they're dependent on you for some kind of supply, it's going to affect them when you abandon them. All right. So it's not across the board for every narcissist. It depends on what's going on in that particular narcissist's life, whether you abandon them, if it's going to affect them. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into one of the things that narcissists fear the most. What is a narcissist's primary goal, all right, when they deal with you? They love to put you down. They love to devalue you. And why do they do all these things? To break your self-esteem. That's why they do it. They want to break your self-esteem. Now, you say to yourself, why would somebody want to break my self-esteem? Because you've got to understand the mindset of the narcissist. Narcissists are jealous and competitive. So somebody who's jealous and competitive of you wants to bring you down to a level beneath them. So this is why they criticize you. This is why they judge you. This is why they're so difficult to live with. Okay, nothing is ever good enough for them. They criticize your cooking. They criticize how you parent. They criticize how you dress. They criticize how you look, okay? Everything is to tear you down. And what does that do? That tears apart your self-esteem, right? But what is the narcissist's biggest fears? All right, I'm going to get into this now towards the end of this podcast. One of their biggest fears is your self-confidence, okay? If you ever want to destroy a narcissist, just be self-confident. Let them know that they don't affect you. You know who the fuck you are. Not today, Satan. You're not going to break my self-worth because I trust myself, okay? I trust myself. I walk in the truth. I do the right thing. I do everything that I could possibly do, humanly able to do, all right? So I'm going to forgive myself for not being perfect, okay? But see, a narcissist is going to try to bring you down for not being perfect, because they're going to make you think that you need to be perfect. That's why a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse or people that have been through trauma are now obsessed with being perfect. They're obsessed with perfection, okay? How do I know that? Because one of my autistic sons, he goes through this because of the trauma that he went through, all right? Always worried, he tells me all the time, I'm not perfect. And I said, that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody in this world is perfect, okay? You have to accept yourself for who you are. You're a good person. You have a good heart. And you have to value yourself. We are all human beings. We all make mistakes. And we can't get down on ourselves for the mistakes that we made. But the caveat to that is, you want to not make the same mistake again, okay? You have to learn from your mistakes. That's the difference between somebody who grows and somebody who's a fool that makes the same mistakes over and over and over again. That may be somebody who keeps taking back the narcissist when they know that the narcissist is toxic, all right? They know that the narcissist is no good, but they just can't let go of them. That's because that person is lacking something within themselves. They're not trusting themselves that they could live a happy life without the narcissist. You've got to understand, there's millions of people in this world that can make you happy besides that narcissist. And you've got to trust in the fact that you can be happy with somebody else or be happy on your own, okay? Happiness comes from within. It comes from accepting what is and realizing and appreciating what you have, all right? It's all relative. What might be hard for one person is not hard for another person, okay? Each individual in this world is dealing with some cross to bear. We all are dealing with something that we have to that we all have crosses to bear in this world, which means hardships, right? Some of us have bigger hardships than others. So it's all relative, but whatever you do have, you have to be able to appreciate it, okay? Appreciate what you have. Appreciate the fact that you may have family, friends, support. Appreciate the fact that you have a job. Appreciate the fact that you're alive, okay? Now, I'm going a little off tangent because what I'm trying to point out is this. A narcissist wants you to feel that you need to be perfect, so they're going to try to break your self-esteem, your self-worth. You've got to know who you are, appreciate what you've been through, okay? It's like when I talked to somebody and I told them everything that I went through and everything like that, one of the things they said to me is, well, it seems like you were able to navigate through it, okay? And she was like, you need to, give yourself a pat on the back and say, I was able to get through those hard times, okay? Instead of looking at it and shaming yourself and saying, oh, how could I get involved with this person, or how could I put myself in this situation? Give yourself a pat on the back and say, good for me for getting through what I got through, okay? Life is not always fair, and sometimes you're dealt a bad deck, and you have to just deal with whatever you have and work your way through it, okay? That's the difference between a real strong person, a survivor, and somebody who falls to pieces. See, a narcissist wants you to fall to pieces, and especially when you leave them, they're hoping that you're suffering, you're struggling, that you can't move on in your life. And what you're going to do is you're going to show that narcissist that you're living your best life, okay? And that, you guys, is one of the biggest fears of the narcissist, to know that you have moved on and that you're doing okay and that you're enjoying and you're thriving in your life and that you're happy. Narcissists, one of their biggest fears is to see other people happy, because I'm telling you, deep down, they are a miserable, unhappy, insecure, cowardly person. That's who they are. Because strong people don't have to put down other people that are weak and vulnerable. But a narcissist is a basic bully. That's what they do. And that's why a lot of them target the weak and vulnerable. And that's why a lot of them targeted you, because you may have been vulnerable at the time and you didn't realize it. You may have been going through something at the time, and that narcissist came along and offered you little tidbits and fantasies of happiness, and you took the bait. You were led into temptation. You took the bait and you got entrapped with a narcissist. And that's why you may have let a lot of things go with that narcissist, or you ignored what went on with that narcissist, because they were offering that happiness that you were lacking within yourself at the time, because you may have been vulnerable. All right. So now you've been through things. Now you know what it is. Now you've educated yourself on narcissism. And now you realize that, you know what? Okay, I went through what I went through, but that's okay, because I learned from it, all right? I mean, you got to forgive yourself, because you did the best you could with what you knew at the time, all right? You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. But now you know better, and now you trust yourself, and now you will not let another toxic narcissist ever desecrate you, okay? Or put you down any which way, because you know who the fuck you are, and you walk in the truth, and now you are focused, okay? What do I always tell you guys? You've got to be focused. See, a lot of times you deal with a narcissist, you're not focused. That's why you can't spot the gaslighting. That's why you were in a fog of confusion, that cognitive dissonance, because you were not focused, all right? That's why I tell you, go learn that gaslighting. The minute you know that gaslighting, boom, baby, you're going to spot that toxic person. When they start saying things like, oh, I really don't remember, or it didn't happen like that, or that's all in your head, okay? Or I don't know what you're talking about. Toxic, toxic, toxic. Let me disengage from this person. I'm not getting clarity. I'm not getting transparency. I'm dealing with a toxic person. I don't have to engage. I don't have to explain myself. I distance myself from toxic, okay? But that will put fear into the narcissist, because you're not engaging with them. You're not bringing yourself down to their level. You're rising above. You're going high. You're not going the low road. You're going the high road, because now you're seeing that narcissist for exactly who they are. Nothing. That's who they are. A toxic, insecure, bully person. And that is not going to faze you, because not today, Satan. I know who I am. I'm doing the right things. I'm reassuring myself that I'm doing the right things. I'm living my best life. I got my finances right. I'm working on my health. I'm networking, having friends, and getting together with other people. So anything that you say does not affect me, okay? Because you are toxic. Understand this. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with automatically a liar, and they lie in different forms. And I talked about that. Okay. They may not come out blatantly and say a lie, although most of them do. They can lie by omission, all right? By not telling you things or by gaslighting you and not answering the question. This is also forms of lying because they're not being truthful when they know the truth, all right? So I had also somebody who came to me and said, well, the narcissist never lied to me. That's where you're wrong. Narcissists don't always lie. Yes, they do. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes, they do. Either you didn't recognize that they lied to you, or they lied by a form of omission or gaslighting or something. If they were manipulating you, they were lying to you. Manipulation is lying, whether you realize it or not. They're misleading you to think something that is not true, okay? That is a form of lying. Misleading is lying, okay? I need to clarify this for some people. So, the biggest fear of a narcissist is to see you be the best person that you can be and to move on, maybe be successful. You don't have to be successful. You just have to be living your best life and be happy. And that is the biggest fear of a narcissist, that you're happy without them and that you're good and you're happy in your life. That destroys, does that destroy the narcissist? They want to know that you're miserable. Misery loves company, right? They want to know that you're miserable because they want to feel that you need them, all right? But when you move on and you're doing good, or maybe you're successful, or things are happening for you, that makes them feel so much lower, okay? Like, you don't need them. That's one narcissistic injury. You don't need them. The next narcissistic injury is that you're happy. And then the next narcissistic injury is that maybe you're doing better than them and you're successful, all right? All of these crush the narcissist. These are their biggest fears, okay? So I hope that helps you guys. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio. I have limited space because I'm working on 2 other projects. I just don't have the time, you guys. So you've got to book in advance. Check out the link in the bio at askgaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. My TikTok is The Game Exposed. Instagram is The Game EXP123. I have a new Facebook page at The Game EXP777. And YouTube, with over 6,000 videos, is The Game Exposed podcast. And have a great day.